Yeah, egg is protein, okay? You need to remember that.
Hello and welcome to Academy Meals. I'm Alex Barbu and today I'm joined by Chef Antoine Panek at the Folkestone Academy. So Anton, what are we cooking today?
Okay, so the recipe for today we've seen with students is called Rocking Rock Cake. A very simple recipe using the rubbing in method, and ingredients are very simple, very basic. You've got flour, butter, sugar, mixed fruit and 1 egg. This is the only ingredient we use. The quantity we're using for that recipe is 200 grams of self-raising flour. We're using also 17 grams of butter or margarine, 75 grams of sugar, 75 grams of mixed dry fruit. We're using sultana and orange peel mix, but you can use dried cherry, you can use apple, or you can use fresh fruit as well. You can cut and prepare yourself. And then 1 medium eggs. And that's the only ingredient that I use in that recipe. So fairly simple to do yourself at home, a very basic recipe.
Can you take us through the cooking process?
Very simple. This recipe is probably done in about 15-minute time. Okay, the first thing you need to do is preheat your oven about 200 degrees, and then the process starts with the flour that needs to be sieved first, and then we incorporate the butter to the flour using what we call the rubbing method, where you actually use your fingertip in order to mix the flour and the butter together until you get a breadcrumb texture. Then you add the sugar and the dry fruit, and the next stage after that, once it's all uniform, is to add a broken egg that you beat in order to bind all those ingredients together and to form a firm dough, but not too wet and not too dry. So you need to find the right balance. And at the stage when you finish this, if it's too dry, you can add a little bit of milk in order to finish the process and have that firm dough. As I say, just enough to bind the ingredient, but not to end up with something that's going to be sticky. Then the process is to divide that dough into equal size. Roughly 8 rock cake can be made with this mixture we've got here today for the student. And then place them onto a baking tray. And then the process is just to cook them for about 12 to 15 minutes in an oven where the temperature is set at 200 degrees.
Any special tips for those cooking at home?
Special tips cooking at home: use your fingertips for the rubbing in technique. You do not want to get the butter onto your fingers and the palm of your hands because you're going to melt the butter, and the butter needs to stay fairly hard during the process of the rubbing. Otherwise you end up with an oily mess, and it's not pleasant to work in this condition.